And look at how cute this little cafe curtain is here. Because I could have just closed this up, but again, my inner child came through and I was like, let's do these freaking swoops and this little corbel detail here to kind of jazz it up. And so yeah, this is super cute. This is just a place where my inner child comes through, and so I did it, and there it is. Hello everyone, my name's Jasleen and I'm the principal designer and builder here at OurHaus Builders. Welcome to the tour of our newest build. This is our third new construction house here in North Texas, and I'd love to show you around, so let's go check it out. As you step into the foyer, we have 12-foot tall ceilings, which is one of my favorite features in this house. This house is only 2,470 square feet, so less than 2,500, but it feels so massive because of the high ceilings, the statement lighting, and as you'll see, all of our transitional elements in the house, they just make it very homey. I would say this is a transitional and cottage style house, while still maintaining that new construction clean feel. But I always try to go for that homey, traditional essence that everyone's used to seeing. One of my favorite features to include in every house are these double front doors. Not only are they a lifesaver when you're moving, but they just make such a huge statement when you enter. Double doors are a must in any house. So if you're designing a new home, please put these in there because it's so easy for construction needs and for you to move things around in your house, less banging the sides of a single door. So I love this. So as you walk into our home office, you have our statement lighting piece, which I am a huge fan of. A lot of new construction homes, they don't add a bunch of light fixtures, and that just makes the space feel so plain and just not high end. So this is one way in our new construction houses that we add a little bit of dimension and texture. And who doesn't need built-ins in their lives? We are in 2025, work from home, your kids need something to do their homework on, you need a place for your printer, plugins for your laptop and chargers, drone charging stations, you name it. So I absolutely love putting built-ins in the home office. We did shiplap in the center here with my bright brass sconces here. I am a huge fan of red oak because it is widely available at the big box stores and specialty hardwood stores, and it's just a beautiful wood. It doesn't have a lot of knots like pine does, and it takes the stain very well. And I just love the grain pattern here. We did a center built-in desk for here with your slow close and soft close everything, and tons of bookcase space here with the glass cabinets in the middle. And then we did a champagne bronze hardware on these cabinets. And one important thing that you don't want to miss is usually people like to have built-ins behind them, and then they like to put a desk here in the center. Make sure you're adding floor outlets to your new build. You will not regret floor outlets because you don't want a bunch of cords just kind of hanging everywhere. It doesn't look too great, doesn't look clean when you have that. So if you're building a new house, remember to add floor outlets and kind of just plan ahead of time, because that has to be done at the time that you're getting ready for your foundation. You have to plan it ahead of time. But I'm so glad we did that because you can put a desk here in the middle and then have your chair and then have a perfect place to plug in chargers and lamps and things like that. So, all right, next up, we're gonna go check out the kitchen, which I'm extremely excited to show you because it is my favorite kitchen that I have seen and built to date. All right, welcome to our giant 3-wall kitchen. I cannot tell you how much I love 3-wall kitchens. I think they just frame a house so nicely. And everybody knows that kitchens sell houses. Kitchens are the one place where you can spend all of your money and you won't regret it. I would put, if I was building a home, I would put most of my money in a kitchen because that makes the biggest difference in a house. So in this kitchen, I wanted to still have a neutral feel that makes it feel big and inviting, but there is storage to the max in here. I don't think that storage is going to be an issue here. A lot of people that like to cook, they love having deeper, bigger drawers so you can put cookie sheets, pans, pots, lids, and everything in between. So we did a lot of cabinetry here, and of course my husband and I, we built all these cabinets here on site, and this kitchen took us about 3 weeks from the time of designing and sketching out the layout to installing and paint. So not too bad, but I love that I was finally able to do a kitchen that kind of rings true to what the needs are of people today, and something that's a luxurious option in a house that's not 3,000 or 4,000 square feet. This one's only 2,470. So you will not find a kitchen like this in a house that's small. But you have your features like a trash pullout, which is a huge must. And a lot of people have wood pullouts, but I would recommend doing metal. That way, if you get gunk on these, they won't, swell up from moisture damage, or, they're just much easier to clean. Saves you a lot of replacement down the road. And one thing I love is this faucet. It's from OurHaus. And I think it just ties it all in together. I love how this is actually machined brass. So it's real, it's not bright color, and it feels really heavy as well in your hand. Like, that is actually some weight right there. But I love it. It's perfect. Nice. And this time I actually went for a porcelain sink, not a stainless steel one. I think porcelain just gives off a much more high-end feel, and I think I'll stick with that. But I've done stainless steel in our other 2 previous houses, and it looked good, but I wasn't that big of a fan. I think I'm gonna stick with porcelain. It just feels a bit more natural because it has that stone kind of rock feel. So I love that, and it's a huge sink, so you can do whatever you want. It's great for the family that's moving in here. So porcelain is the way to go. And as we pan out here to the main wall with the vent hood, I went with a 36-inch Cosmo range here. This is an electric range. And I think it's beautiful because usually electric ranges, you think of like GE or Frigidaire, something really common. But I absolutely love this range. If you have the opportunity to make a statement, go for a 36-inch. All right, so another feature that we added in these cabinets is that, as you can see, it's not all a flat plane here. We actually tiered it to where this cabinet is less deep, and then it comes back out again for the vent hood here, and it just adds so much more dimension and texture and drama to an otherwise just boring area of a house where people just, go flat, one-dimensional. So, kind of think about things like this if you're ever designing or building your own house, is like, how can you add a little bit more, texture and dimension via the cabinets, but this didn't cost us any more money, really. I mean, we were gonna put crown molding here, we're gonna have cabinets here, but having these pop out just a little bit more gives it that, custom interior design look, which I loved. And I love a statement hood. You don't have to go expensive and, crazy with the vent hoods, as long as, I try to make it a little bit wider than my range all the time, at least 4 to 6 inches on either side. That way it just looks, nice, and it's framing it nicely. Because when you have smaller vent hoods and ranges, and if you make it exactly that same size, it can look a little bit tight and cooped up. So I always go wider, and that's usually my goal, is to go pretty much as wide as I possibly can with these. And we went for a contrasting color on the hood that matches the walls, because I do want that subtle pop of color And I love how this turned out. And I went a little bit less deep with the vent hood because I don't want people to think they're hitting their head, you know, and while they're cooking, because a lot of vent hoods are like down here, or they have the microwaves on top, and that can just be really constricting movement wise. But I love all the storage, all these kind of features that we put in here. I love crown molding, the ornamental kind, not just flat, because it just gives it that more traditional feel. But as we move on to our island here, again, this is the same red oak. My husband Austen and I, we cut all of these, we cut like so many sheets of plywood just to come up with the grain that goes in the same pattern without any knots, that way everything looks seamless. And that's just something that you have to talk to your cabinet maker about, because there is a lot of material that goes to waste, because you're trying to find that perfect grain piece that just looks very uniform but soft at the same time. But I just love how we have a different door style here. So this isn't shaker. I just call this, you know, we just came up with this door style on the fly, but I just love it. It's flat over here, but it's kind of got this skinny border profile there, which I love. And then we've got some drawers here. This is mainly only for like dry goods, plates, cups, wine glasses or so. And we have our drawer open microwave. You can open it manually and close it manually as well, but I love it. Totally accessible, because then you can put things here and it won't interfere with your other countertop space. So accessible for everybody. And I love this color, how this came out, especially with the champagne bronze hardware that we have. And this here, so this is another pop out. As you can tell, I love having my pop ins and pop outs. That's like, this countertop is way deeper than these that you see here. This is about an average like 24, 26 inch here. And we actually had to buy multiple slabs just to cover this space here. So I love this deeper countertop space, because if you're celebrating Thanksgiving or you've got a party going on, this is perfect for that. And another thing I want to mention is that these large windows here, they are 3 separate windows, and they bring in so much light, and it just gives you a view of all the greenery outside. We added shiplap behind the windows just to give it more texture. I wanted to do rock, but that was out of the budget. So we went with shiplap, and it still just gives it, you know, a lot of style here. So that's what we decided to do. Now on this side, of course, we have our dishwasher. And here I did a large, like an extra large drawer here. That way you can put your cookie sheets and your baking trays or cake stands that you have vertically here. So I love that. And this is for your fridge. We made this, what is it called? Countertop depth. Is that what it's called? No, it's basically, it's deeper. That way your fridge isn't like out here. Your fridge will actually fit behind this and look very seamless. So we made it a little bit deeper than the other spaces. That's why we have yet another pop out here, because these are kind of your regular depth, and then this is for the refrigerator, and then we pop this entire wall out. But you've got more storage here, which I also can't reach. Endless storage, a decorative open shelf just for displaying things, and more storage up here. Now, these 2 large doors have something extremely special behind them. I loved building this feature, although it took us a long time to do these doors because they're so long. And usually when you do longer cabinet doors, they can warp. So we had to do a lot of work on these, which was a slight challenge, but it turned out really well. But behind these doors is actually your hidden pantry. So when you open these two doors here, there's like a freaking secret room behind them. And I cannot tell you how much everyone raves about this. They're always surprised because this isn't something that you see in houses that are just like your regular builder's grade. This is something that's found in those high-end, you know, Utah or North American houses that are established and more traditional. But you've got your 6'8" entry here, so tall enough for anyone to come through. And turn the light on here, and we've got our Gale Force by Sherwin-Williams built in. So I love this hidden pantry. I told my husband Austen, I said, we have to build a tiny library ladder in here. I fought for this tiny ladder. I like to give as much luxury and custom feel to the houses as possible. People that buy our houses are special to me, and I want them to have something that no one in our area at least has at all. But we just have open shelving in here. That way you can just quickly grab things and items, because we do have so much built-in cabinetry and closed doors in the kitchen. I wanted to keep it a little bit more open here. That way you can just grab and go and be more functional. So this is L-shaped in here. With a stained red oak countertop again, which I love, and also a window in the pantry. Usually a pantry is like, you know, this closed kind of claustrophobic room, and I don't even enjoy going in them, but this pantry, I just love it. It's just so cozy and intimate, and this dark color just gives off so much, you know, color and vibrancy. So I love this pantry. It's one of my favorites. You can put baskets and, you know, display your items. We made it deep enough so you can store like paper towels and, you know, whatever you wish. So I absolutely love this pantry. Every single time somebody sees the house, they think it's cabinets behind those doors. And as soon as they open them, they're like, what? I had no idea what was behind these doors. And it just fills my heart with happiness. After coming out of the pantry here, we were like, how do we finish off this end here? Usually cabinet makers will do a decorative end panel, but I didn't want to take it back. I wanted to keep it at the same plane as the refrigerator and the pantry doors. And so here we took it as another opportunity to add even more storage. And so when you open these doors, we've got a tall storage cabinet with your adjustable shelving here. And I just love how we finished this off. It's not like a boring end panel or like faux cabinet doors here. You've actually got usable storage space. This was kind of, we did this on the fly here, but it just looks so perfect in this space. I was so surprised at how this came out, but I would definitely do this again. And here in the island, we just kept it really simple and finished it off with your clean trim and just crisp lines. No storage really added here, because we did this in our last house, and I decided not to put knobs on the doors on that island because I don't want your knees or anything kind of hitting the knobs while you're sitting here on the island. So we kind of just kept it very sharp and simple. And I love the dark flooring in here as well, because I love the beige or blonde flooring that's so trendy and in these days, but I think that the darker flooring just gives it a more cozier look and a little bit more contrast against the neutral colors. And we also decided to just do 2 statement pendants here instead of 3. And I just love how they look. They just tie everything in together. And I love the brass kind of, it's just got that jewel tone because all of your lighting is the jewelry that's on your house. So I love the fixtures on here. They're kind of larger than usual. I tend to go for larger fixtures because there's only so many areas where you can make a statement, but I absolutely love these, and I like how they give off a diffused light. not kind of, you know, they're very sharp or glass. So I love that they don't have to wipe the glass on here. You just kind of vacuum it as usual and then just wipe this down and you're good to go. Now let's go to our dining room area. So here where this fixture is here is where the dining room would be. So it's extremely open concept. You got your kitchen, dining, and your living all in one large kind of room. So dining table here, and as you look out, you see this large living room space. We did red oak beams here, and these beams are kind of unique because they're not your usual box beam style. They are kind of built in like 3 parts. So we've got that middle strip, and then we've got 2 bars of red oak that are kind of hugging that. So I just love how it adds a little bit more, you know, mystery to it. Like it's not your average box beam. Yeah, I think it took us like a week to stain them. Everything is stained the same color. All of our wood, everything is red oak. We just stuck around with one species here. So if you can do beams to break up a large kind of a space like we have here, it changed this room because the can lights in here, the recess lights, I was joking to my husband that they kind of looked like a runway light. So these beams just kind of broke up that heavy, you know, feeling that you get when you just look at like empty white walls and there's nothing else in here. But let's go over here to the built-ins in the living room. So here again, I brought the red oak, that's kind of mimicking that white oak look, but not with the white oak budget. But I love these built-ins, same skinny border around just the plain slab here. And we just chose to go very simple and classic on these. We've got these large windows here. I didn't want to do a full grid, so I just went with a little strip at the top. And here you can add, you know, cafe curtains, or you can add Roman shades, whatever you'd wish. But there's not a ton of light and heat that comes in. So, and when you look outside, you kind of, you know, have a little view of a valley. So, because this house is actually on 0.75 acres, and it's situated right in city limits. It's your North Texas suburbia. So having a view like that to where you're not directly facing a neighbor and they're not like right there is a huge feature. And so that's another reason why I love this lot, because it's kind of like a hill and it's got these views, and you get some greenery here while still being in the heart of the city. So this fireplace here is like my pride and joy. Our masonry guys did a great job. I wanted it to feel like a European castle. I wanted it to be kind of heavy on the mortar, kind of blurring all the straight lines in the rock. And I wanted it to look kind of, you know, just like an old castle, like you're in an older building, because so many new construction builders these days, they'll just do tile or something plain and standard here. Whereas we kind of take it as an opportunity to make a statement. So I love this fireplace. We made it wider than we usually would. I think it's almost 6 feet after the rock was put on. And I just love the look. It's so rustic, but at the same time, it feels like an old European, you know, building that you just walked into. So I love this fireplace. It's a 36 wood burning fireplace, so nothing, just your standard, but this rock just makes it look amazing. And another feature in this house that we have is we have 2 rear porches. So we've got this door here, and then on the other side we've got the same door, and I went with a contrasting black kind of a color here. But if you look out, you've got a little porch here that you can use for like grilling, or, you know, just kind of look out. There's always deer in the back over there, and if you feed them, they'll come. But I love this back porch. Do not do a back porch without a fan, especially if you're in Texas. That's a must. And another thing I want to mention is I went with a darker color on these 8x8 posts here, because the lighter colors that I've done in the past, they do kind of fade and wash away quicker, but just something to keep in mind. But we have this back porch here, which I love. It's where I would kind of put the pool is kind of right here, similar to what our neighbors did over there. But this is where you'd have your pool and with a retaining wall there. But I love how it's like you're right in the heart of the city, but you have so much space here, and it doesn't feel claustrophobic or cooped up. And there's always a breeze here. Like I said, always deer in the mornings, in the evenings here. And if you feed them, they'll come up right to your house. They've been eating our landscaping plants as I've caught them on camera, and, you know, kind of laying down in our mulch. So that's been fun, but that's okay. They can keep eating them. They're too cute. Let me show you the other porch that we've got here. This one actually connects in with the primary bedroom, and this one is much bigger. But this is kind of where I would imagine you would sit and lounge, maybe have your grilling area here, or you could grill in the other porch. You have choices, but this was a very unique feature in this plan that I loved, is these two back porches. And you know, you've got a covered area already, especially for a new construction. They usually just give you like a tiny slab, whether it's covered or not, you know, is whatever. All right, so this house is actually divided into thirds. So on one end, which I like to call the left end, we've got 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. And then in the middle, we have our kitchen, dining, and living. And then on the right-hand side is where we have the primary suite, and then the laundry room and powder room area. So let's go at first glance to the left side of the house, where we did this hall cabinet. And I was really looking for a place to do kind of like these industrial grates here. And I thought this would be the perfect place to do it. And I just love how these doors kind of turned out. We did stained grade shelves on the inside here. Again, that pop of color. And I love these huge doors. Kind of just elevates your average linen cabinet, closet situation here. But we gotta vacuum that. Oh well. But I love how much storage you've got here. So much space. And this color is Gauntlet Gray by Sherwin-Williams. And these grates, I've never really seen them done before, except for on Pinterest on all the expensive houses. So I was really happy to include that in here. It was kind of challenging to do that. This bedroom here, which I usually call like the kids' bedroom, but it's just your standard bedroom. But there's one feature in here that I want to rave about, which is these mirror closet doors. These are 8-foot closet doors, and they have a mirror on the front right here, and they've got a mirror on the inside as well. So that is just, when I saw this, I was like, I've got to have these in the new house. These are gonna be perfect, because usually everybody has like a mirror kind of sitting on the floor or put on top of the closet door with those hooks. And it's just something that, you know, everyone needs, but this was an amazing way to add these on here. So I love this feature, and so does everybody else. If you get the opportunity to do this in your own home, I definitely would. And I went with just a simple black fan here with no light. I usually don't like the fans that have lights on them, because we do add a lot more recessed can lights in here. So again, that contrast and pop of color, and it's so much easier to clean this fan too, because you're not having to clean glass and light bulbs and things like that. I love these knobs here that have the square back plate. They are extremely thick, and I am team handles, not knobs, so this is a must. And now I went with a really light tile in here to give it that fresh spa-like feel. Again, we have a built-in linen cabinet, which you can never have enough storage. As a girl, I need as much storage in a bathroom and everywhere else that I can get. And this is perfect. This is great in here. I could not be happier with how this turned out. This color is Urban Jungle by Sherwin-Williams. You have your little hooks here, which are a brighter gold color. And again, here's my obsession with the pop outs, except for this one kind of goes in here where these 3 drawer units are. And again, like we could have just made this into a boxy vanity, but I wanted this countertop to kind of go in and, you know, out like that, just to add a little bit more customized design work into it. But we have our Delta champagne bronze fixtures, and I love this detail, the little swoops in the mirrors here. It's so cute. I think we got them off of Wayfair, and then we've just got our simple light fixtures up above. But I just love how we also did, because all this space under the sink, you know, it's usually just, you can't really use it. So we did double doors here, and then I decided to do a drawer. That way you could still have space to store things without getting into the plumbing. This way we've got our shower. And I love this shower tile. I don't know how the color is coming up in the video, but this is like a gray, but with a touch of purple when I look at it here, and I just love it. The lines in the tile are not straight. It just looks so organic, and I just love the shape of this tile. I know this is similar to like that Zalige tile that everybody likes to use, but this was from Floor and Decor, and it just turned out beautiful. I love it, especially with the champagne gold here. And we went all the way up to the ceiling, which I strongly recommend just to give it that high-end look. And we did a pattern here where we have these straight pieces, and then we did a horizontal strip, which I love this tile pattern. I might even do this same shower tile and pattern in our next house. We'll see. And another thing I want to say is, you know, to have that high-end feel. So I did this door in a white because I want the focal point to be the tile in here. But when you enter the bathroom, I wanted to give a different kind of a color and look to it. And so we did, this is stained solid core 8-foot pine door. And I just love the stain color. We matched it with the rest of our woodwork in here, the red oak. And I just love how it gives that color. When the door is closed, you see the stained wood, the white, and then you see this contrasting color. So again, I just love how it kind of all pulls it together and just makes it more homey and cozy because you're looking at all these different elements in your home. But yeah, this is bath 2. We're gonna head over to our half bath powder room now. All right, so this half bath is a moment. I always try to make a statement in the smaller kind of rooms that everyone will use in the house. I take it as an opportunity to be more creative and kind of push the boundaries. So in here, we decided to do a darker color. I think this is Backdrop by Sherwin-Williams. And the tile in here is just so much fun. I love this tile. It just brightens it up and makes it really fun, and you know, just brings joy to anybody that comes in here. Everybody loves this tile, and it just plays off nicely with the darker color. It gives it that like luxury hotel, like you went on vacation. But again, I love this mirror, kind of the swoops and the swirls in here. I love this light bar. We did a detailed kind of backsplash on here. I wanted to give it more dimension than just your regular 4-inch strip. So again, powder room, very easy to be creative in here because everything is so small that it's affordable to do these interesting touches. And then here on the vanity, I went with like a vent hole design just to be more decorative in here. And I could not be more proud of my husband cutting these scallops with his hand. And so it's all handmade. No CNCs were used in this build. So I just love how this vanity turned out. It's just like super cute. So to me as a girl, I'm just like, it's perfect. It's amazing. So you can see how my inner child kind of comes through when I do things here. I'm like, yep, let's put stars and scallops and vent holes all in one place. But again, I kind of color drenched in here, although I did keep the ceiling white because I don't want it to have that cave feeling in here. So I just love it. The color of the walls kind of contrasts so well with the fixtures here. And it's just, this is like one of my favorite rooms. I would love this even in my own home. Hallway, I decided to do a dark black tile with bigger grout lines, and this grout has stood the test of time because we didn't even really cover it up, and it's still just as white and just as clean. It is sealed, but I love how the thicker grout lines just make the black kind of pop more, and you see that is very like common in a transitional modern house. So I love this black tile. Now let's go over to the primary suite. So as we step into the primary suite here, it's a large room. And like I said before, you have a rear patio here. So you can open these sliding doors and, you know, kind of just enjoy your morning coffee. And it's just really nice. I wish I had this in my house, but here we are. But again, we have a large tray ceiling there. And again, I always try to go with larger fans in here. This one, again, doesn't have a light, very easy to clean and maintain, puts off a lot of air because we are in North Texas and it gets really, really hot up in here. So fans are a must. Otherwise, I would definitely do a statement chandelier. One of my favorite places in the house. This vanity is kind of the opposite of what we did in the bath 2 vanity, where I had that one pop in, but this one actually pops out. It gives you extra countertop space here because as a woman, I know that when we do our hair and makeup, we have to spread out. And so I really appreciate this. And it kind of does section off, you know, both spaces here. So, you know, it just looks really nice. And I did a lot of drawers in here because in bathrooms, I always see people using those little organizers, those little trays to put all the small things in. But here, you don't really need any more of those plastic trays and organizer bins. You have your drawers and plenty of storage here. I just chose to go for a single door here under the sink. And I love how this vanity came out. I was not sure about this color at all because when I started painting it, it was like this really weird olive, but like green, but brown. And it was just like a really weird color. And so I'm glad that it all kind of pulled together really well. This is actually quartz, but it looks like it's soapstone, and that's what I was going for. It's just, you know, a beautiful, beautiful stone, but soapstone is really, you have to be careful about scratching it and cleaning it, and it gets stained easily, but this stone won't because it performs as quartz, and we haven't really had any issues with it staining or anything. And I just love the little grain and the colors in here. They go great with our little brown green vanity color. If you're curious about the color, it is Cowboy Boots by Sherwin-Williams. So this tile here, it's got this fluted pattern and it just looks so natural and organic. I just love the texture that it gives here. And it also protects the wall behind the tub. Now, we also used it inside of the shower as well. I went up kind of halfway to that point. I think this tile is about 36 to 40 inches in there. And I just stuck with a simple subway at the top, but just kind of doing that half and half pattern made otherwise a simple space really come together. But this is a massive shower. I love how the tile came out. We just went with a hexagonal kind of mosaic at the bottom there for the shower pan. But this is beautiful. I love the texture that it gives off. It's not your plain. It's actually I love the contrast too, because this is a little bit gray and white. And then this is your stark white subway. So I'm in love with this shower. We'll probably do it again. And of course, if you think you have enough storage, you don't, add more. So we have another linen cabinet here with just open shelving. That way you can just, you know, drop things here, you know, put a little mirror here for decorative purposes. But I just love these linen cabinets because in your usual homes, there's just never enough storage. And this just, I love it. We match the color Cowboy Boots by Sherwin-Williams with the vanity in here. And again, we've got our 8-foot mirror doors in the primary closet. And we have our built-in drawers here, which I love. They are super deep. And then we've got our hanging space with open shelving at the top. Okay, so as we step into the laundry room, one thing I want to speak about is I like to, like I said, add a lot of dimension and contrast and things like that to the house. So I wanted to have more natural light because there is a window in the laundry room, but there isn't one in the hallway. And so I decided to go for this just open glass kind of door here. But I did add a feature that way you wouldn't see all of your laundry room, you know, junk and things like that. And so all the clutter is hidden with this little cafe curtain that I put here. And if it was me living in this house, I would change this curtain like with the holidays, like have a Christmas themed one during Christmas or have a Thanksgiving one. And it would just, I don't know, make the house a lot more fun. So use it as a decorative element since it can be changed. But I'm so excited to show you guys this color that I picked in the laundry room. But here it is. I was so nervous about doing this color and not staying true to those neutral roots. It's kind of like that periwinkle blue when you look at it, but it is Windy Day by Sherwin-Williams. And I love it. We decided to do this really trendy, and it's like everybody loves these checkered floors right now in a diamond pattern. It's your white and then gray tile. And I love this laundry room. Like I would be in here every single day, you know, just having a good time because I just like to come in here a lot. But we went with brighter brass fixtures in here and this quartz countertop. I brought in the vent holes from the powder room into the laundry room, and they just give that like really classic European architecture look with that heavy crown molding. I always put a light fixture, pendant or chandelier in here. We have our sink, and look at how cute this little cafe curtain is here. Because I could have just closed this up, but again, my inner child came through and I was like, let's do these freaking swoops and this little corbel detail here to kind of jazz it up. And so, yeah, this is super cute. This is just a place where my inner child comes through. And so I did it, and there it is. Again, you know, I have like 4 or 5 different types of doors in this house. This is like a frosted, like blurred reeded glass in here. And this is just like a broom closet or like a safe closet, however you want to use it as. It's kind of up to you. You could put vacuum cleaning items in here or your safe, totally up to you. The more storage options, the better. Okay, and our final element here as far as cabinetry is concerned is the mudroom. Okay, you guys, I fought for these little swoops here. Okay, we were like at a total time crunch, and it was just like, you know, kind of just go time so we could get it on the market. And this mudroom is the last piece of cabinetry that we built. And I was like, we have to do a bench, and it has to have this swoop here. That way it kind of looks like a church pew. But I love how it came out. We did shiplap here. I guess the buyers can add hooks in here if they want to. It's up to them. But again, my little decorative vent holes in the cabinetry, these larger pulls here, and we put hooks in here. That way you can put like your, you know, purse and clothing and whatever you want to have in here to exit your home. And, you know, I left the bench here. I left this space open. That way, if you have guests coming, they can take their shoes off here, or you can tuck boots and everything in there. So I left that open. And we have little drawers here for extra shoe storage. And then just closed cabinetry there for like scarves and, you know, whatever you might want. But I love it. This is Gauntlet Gray by Sherwin-Williams again. And this is like one of my favorite mudrooms ever. And you can tell here, a lot of people think that it's not luxury cabinetry if you don't go to the ceiling. But here, I just kind of terminated it at 8 foot, and I can like barely reach it. Like I can't even take anything out of here. I'm 5'3". So you know, for everyday use, this is perfect. You don't always have to go to the ceiling to have like luxury cabinetry feel. You can always just kind of terminate it and it still looks beautiful. And let's see. Oh, one more thing that I want to point out, and it's in the garage here. But as you open the garage, this is an oversized garage. This is still a 2-car, but it's 611 square feet here. Another thing I want to point out is these floors in here. This is polyaspartic, kind of what other people mention as like epoxy flooring, but they had to like grind the floor and do all this work. I think it took them about a week to get this done in here, but I went for this lighter color, and I just love how it came out. It's so beautiful. I love the texture. It's not slippery. It's just a beautiful color that I think ties in the other colors, because it's like kind of got that gray, the white, and neutral kind of flakes in there. But I love how it came out. A lot of people do this, I noticed, in new construction homes. So we just kind of decided to do it ahead of time for our clients instead of just leaving it like plain concrete. This gives it that more finished look. It doesn't stain. It cleans up really well. You can pressure wash it. So I was like totally happy with this feature. I think this is going to be like an ongoing thing that we do in every house. Yes, and the garage, it just looks so clean because it's completely finished out. We've got trim in here. So that's the entry door to the house. That's a storage closet, and that's another storage closet, which has the water heater in there, and then that has your electric panel in there. So lots of storage in this garage. And we've got 3 large windows in here, which are like perfect, because usually garages are like this dark place where you have like racks and storage, and they feel really claustrophobic. But with the windows and the higher ceilings, it just feels like super open and like a space that you actually want to enter and, you know, do stuff in, not just like, oh, here's a little, you know, cavey storage room and there it is. So I I love this garage. We built all the cabinets in here and you can't even tell, like there was paint everywhere, like on the concrete, on the walls, but you'd never know that we did it here. Well, that concludes the tour of this new construction house. Again, this is our third house. I cannot wait to start this fourth one. It's a little bit bigger, but it'll probably be the same style. I'll bring in some of the elements that I put in here, and I cannot wait to show that one to you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me below on any of the colors or light fixtures. I'd be happy to divulge that to you guys. But thank you so much on coming and seeing this tour with me today. And yeah, we will see you in the next house.